What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Thank you for tuning in for another episode of Quality Time with Uncle Drew. And we're here. We bring nothing but special guests on here. We There ain't nobody on here that pops on that's not special, that's not close to me, that plays a big part in my life and what I've done and what I've come across. But we got my boy Kelvin Williams checking in from Atlanta, Georgia. Georgia boy, born and raised, a Navy vet. And we met
Uh,
in acting school, actually. I was actually a year ahead of Kelvin, and we kind of just crossed paths. Not too many of us in acting school, but you know what I mean. We kind of clicked. When I saw him, I would say what's up in the hallway when I would see him around, and we had a couple times during lunch that we stopped and kicked it and talked. And I'm just glad we're connecting again and just sitting down and talking. So, Kelvin, man, I like to start it off. I just like to say what's up and how are you doing, bro?
Hey man, I can't call it. I might spoil it, brother. But no, man, I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good, man. How about you, brother?
Man, like you say, I can't complain. It is made it through another week, about to get to another weekend. I woke up alive, woke up breathing, was able to wake up today. So, bro, I got no complaints, brother.
Won't he do it though? Won't he do
Won't won't he do it? And so as we break into it, man. So like I said, we met in acting school, but of course you got a whole life before that. Um, like what was it like growing up in Atlanta? So I spent time in Atlanta. I played for the Falcons. So,
yes,
I
sir.
grew.
No.
I was up in Flowery Branch, so we was outside of Atlanta because our training facility was up there. But you're a Georgia boy, born and raised, man. What was it like growing up from in Atlanta and in the state of Georgia? And kind of how's that impacted how you've grown up and how you see the world?
Well, I was born in Augusta, Georgia, and we moved up to Atlanta, I think around like 12, 13 years old, maybe 10. And that's when I first saw like buildings, like big buildings. Because I'm a country boy, so that's my first time seeing big buildings, and I don't know, the pace was faster. Everything was faster. People was doing stuff, and I noticed like the fashion. So I was like, that's something I want to get into. And I just had that feeling of, I had that feeling of like, I'm gonna be something one day in this city right here. I don't know what it is, but I'm gonna figure it out. And when I went to school, it was, hey man, growing up, hey, you got to be tough. You got to have tough skin. Um, they will get your ass in school, man. They will. They will joan you. They will clown you. If you ain't got on the right shoes, they'll get you. If you don't have on the nicest clothes, they will get you. So I just learned that you know our people just want the best for ourselves, and we're very prideful. So we're finding any reason to make sure that you look your best at all times. And I think that's what Atlanta taught me to just look your best, stand on business at all times. That's just what I learned growing up in College Park on Flat Shows Road. Yeah.
That's so funny. You naming streets that I actually know. Um, so you hear about College Park and a lot of music too. A lot of rappers from around there, from the music scene that's blown up in the late '90s, early 2000s. You hit on a major thing, bro. You said when you go and grow up in a public school or go to a black school, they gonna clown you. They look at your
Yeah.
fit, they look at your shoes. You can't have no off-brand stuff. You can't
Nah.
be wearing the same stuff back to back days. Like it's tough growing up and being a kid and just you know what I mean? Like, because it's a little bit of that's like you want to belong, but you're stuck to the economic ramifications of what your family's like. And we all
Right.
know what it's like I didn't wear Jordans growing up. And one of the first things I did when I got to the NFL is I was like, man, let me get the Jordans that my parents wouldn't get me. Let me ball out and get the exclusive type things. You talk about growing up in Atlanta, you talk about being fresh to death and learning a little bit about what you wear, what you put on, standing on business, all things like that. Um, Being a black man from Atlanta and coming out to California like you did. Well, let me rewind, let me back up. Being a black man, you go to the Navy. What made you, was it a conscious choice and decision for you to go to the Navy, or was it one of those things where that was the only direction for you at the time?
That was the only direction for me at the time. I was in a very, very tough spot, but that was my only direction at the time to pretty much feed my family. So I had to really think about it because I was really dreading it. I did not want to do the military. I didn't want to do that. I was already chasing my dreams as being an actor, but I realized that I ain't got no money or I don't have support or a support system that's going to fund me, and help me while, I chase those dreams. And you're going to need that. You're going to need some type of stability and a support system. And at that time, I didn't have that. So I was looking for it. Um, my dad was finishing up his time in the Army, and everybody's in my, I have a lot of people in my family who went to the Army. Um, so I wanted to do something different. I want to break the barrier. If I'm going to go in the military, I'm going to choose the route that I want to go, the direction I want to go, and what branch I want to do. Um, yes, I am my daddy's clone, but I would rather like have my own path type thing. And I did my research on the different branches. The army was cool, but the lifestyle just it's not what I wanted. And plus, if I went into the army, I'd be pretty much living like the second coming of my dad, which is no problem with that. But I just felt like I'll be living somebody else's life or an extended version of somebody else's life and not living my own. So I looked at the Air Force, and I'm not gonna lie. I went on Instagram and I looked at I looked at different people's lifestyles from different branches. And what really grabbed my attention is like the females, obviously. Um, the females in the Navy, hey, they look the best. Navy and Air Force. So I was like, well, Marines, you out of there. I'm not that. I'm not that. I'm not that. I'm not that. I'm not that type of guy. So Marines, you out of there. Army, that's cool, but I feel like I'll be grounded and comfortable because there's a lot of of our people in the army, and I felt like if I ever want to grow and find out who I am and be a little bit different from my family, I have to get uncomfortable. So I wanted to go somewhere that was going to make me uncomfortable. I like planes, but the Air Force look a little soft, man. It looks a little soft. So I said, I don't know. So Navy, I was like, okay, the Navy looks cool. They got like 7, 8 uniforms. They had that shit on. So I was like, yeah, okay, they got that shit on. And then I'm scared of water. So I want to face that fear. So I chose Navy. I said, yep, that's where I'm gonna go.
So my sister was in the Air Force, so when she watches it, she probably gonna want to shoot a fair one with you for those words that you trying to say about the Air Force. Um, but I'm laughing at you because you over here doing research and looking at where the finest and prettiest
Hey
women are
man, I'm
before.
keeping it real, man. I'm keeping it real. I'm keeping it real, man. Like
So
you gotta find some type of motivation or something to give you morale.
mhm,
In the military is it's a lot of stress, man. So you might as well go somewhere that's gonna help you get through that.
gotcha. So you make this decision for the Navy, and I like you just said everybody, a lot of people in your family went to the Army, and you looked at it as far as you wanted to do something different. So not as far as you disobeying, but you wanted to do something different. How does that affect your relationship now with your father, knowing you guys both served the country? And let me rewind and say thank you for your service, for your dad's service, for people in your family that have given service to the United States to go protect us so we can do the things that we do over here.
Thank
But what is that necessarily, when your dad found out you were going to go to the Navy and not the Army, what was that conversation and what was that reaction like?
you. My dad hit me up and he was like, "Hey son, have you went to the office yet to pretty much or went to a recruiter?" have you talked to a recruiter yet? And I was like, yeah, I did. He was like, which one? I was like, the Navy. It was like, hmm, you didn't like Army? You want to see? I was like, well, I saw the Army door open, but I remember you telling me a story about my dad wanting to go Air Force, but when he went up there, the Air Force door was closed, the Navy door was closed, the Marine door was cracked, but the Army door was wide open. So he just went into the one that was wide open because at that time, he told me that his mom had kicked him out at 18. You can't come back home. When you graduate, you got to get a job, got to figure out something. And that's just the type of generation that he was living in, the type of times he was living in. So he didn't really have the opportunity to pick. So I was like, well, to learn from his situation, let me actually pick what I want.
Mm.
And I went up there. The Navy door was closed, but I knocked on it. I knocked. I said, hey, somebody out here. Come talk to me.
That's love. So instead of you seeing a door closed as an opportunity that's not there, you said, "Well, let me knock on this door and see if anybody opens it to, and then I can either if they don't answer, I can go somewhere else, or if they do answer, then I'm gonna walk in and I'm gonna accept that call to do what I do." When we talk about the armed forces, man, I do a lot of research and just knowing what we've been through as Black people in this country, and I know there was a certain point in time when we thought joining the armed forces and going and fighting for our country would get us better respect here in the States. And a lot of people went and fought for this country for world wars or just protected it and came back and were treated the same way, or if not worse, than when they left. And they're like, yo, I've fought for this country. I've worn this uniform. I've done these things so you guys can be free over here and live and be safe. And as Black people, you guys still treat us like shit. Um, how was your time in the Navy? How would you describe your time in the Navy?
So on my way to the recruiting office, no, when I got to the recruiting office, um, the guy was like, okay, you gotta take the test, take the little ASVAB. So I took the little ASVAB test and I failed it miserably. But I've been out of school for a minute, so that was my excuse. But my stepmom and my dad got me some cards so I could study. So I studied. I studied for a whole month, and then when I went back to take the test again, I got a way better score. And then the dude says to me, he was like, "You want to do uh, I think it's called ordnanceman. It's pretty much like a bomber, like you decode bombs and shit." And I was like, "Yo, that sounds tough." But nah, I'm not that type of guy, man. That's not me. So I said, "What else you got?" He was like, "Well, I mean, we really don't have much. You could be a CS, which is a culinary specialist, a culinary specialist." And I was like, "Nah." And he was like, "Okay, how fast do you want to leave?" I said, "As soon as possible." So it was like we have this thing called undesignated, where you pretty much are on borrowed time in the Navy, where you go in, you work for the military, but you don't have a place. You just work. So who do you really work for? You work for like the bosun mates, the BMs. And I was like, you know what? I'll choose that. And he was like, but you do understand that in the military, everybody's going to look down at you for being undesignated because you don't really have a place. And then you're
Mm,
just wasting your time. And I said, well, I look at it like I get to go in the military to pretty much choose where I want to be. So I look at it like, well, if I chose undesignated, I get to pick where I want to be. The power is in my hands to go where I want to go. And 3 years is the minimum I have to serve to also get the benefits. So if I don't like it here, I'm out in 3 years versus picking a rate. You got to do that for 5 years and you may not even like it, but you're stuck.
yeah.
So I'm like, nah, I would rather be undesignated. I don't care what y'all talking about. I'm him. So it doesn't matter where I'm going, what I'm doing. I'm going to give you my best. I'm going to stand on business, which I did. And then when it was time to choose a rate, I wanted to go CB. which is pretty much the construction side of the military. They kind of like build beaches and huts and stuff for the SEALs and other special forces. They just build
Hmm.
stuff. And I wanted to do that because I was already doing construction with my uncle and my family before joining the military. And they didn't want to give it to me. They wanted me to be a bosun mate, which I already worked with them for like 3 years. But
Hmm.
and I was okay with being a bosun mate, but that's not what I wanted, which means I'll be settling for something else. I'll be doing something that everybody else wanted me to do. And I just kept those principles like, nah, I'm gonna go where I want to go. And yeah, I mean, I work with the bosun mates, and they start calling me BM because I just fit right in. Like I guess really it wouldn't matter what rate that I was doing. I would have fit in, man, because I understand like, hey, just be a good person, do your fucking work. Make sure you're well dressed. You sandwich, yes sir, no sir, yes ma'am, no ma'am, yes chief, maybe chief. Yes, whatever, and just show the respect, and you're gonna be all right. Make sure your boots polished. You're gonna be all right, man. And you're not a dumb sailor. You're a smart sailor. I did that, and I had no problems.
So that's crazy. You said they started treating you or calling you, referring to you as a BM, even though you weren't a BM, but it was how you carried yourself.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the most interesting things because that's what I tell a lot of young men that I mentor. I'm like, yo, don't dress for where you are now, dress for where you want to be. Don't walk around, how you are right now. Walk around how you want to be. But you said the most important thing. I got a sweatshirt that says be a good person. And in order for you to be in the Navy and to operate like you do, a lot of people get into the military because they don't have discipline, because they don't have drive, because they don't have any direction. And just hearing you talk about how you were working in construction with your family before going to the Navy, it seems like you already had those things. Am I correct?
Uh, not really. I didn't have much discipline.
Okay.
I mean, I had discipline on like if I want something, I'm gonna figure out how to get it. But I never really had discipline on like, hey, wake up on time, be here on time, do this on time, or even if you don't like it, who cares? You signed up for it. Figure it out. You know what I'm saying? It sucks to suck. You got to embrace the suck. So,
Mm.
so I just was like, I went in there, yo. I thank the bosun mates because they taught me how to be a man. Honestly, I thought being 26 entering the military, I was already man because I had the apartment, I had the kids, I was married, I had the car, I had the life already down. So how the hell are you gonna tell me about how military is gonna tell me about how to be a man or how to? And that's not what it's about, man. It's about sacrifice, doing something that you don't want to do, so that you can feed your kids. It's not about you all the time, and that really humbled me. And I had to really like put my life on the line, um, make a big sacrifice so that I can feed my kids. So that's what made me a man, to not be selfish anymore. You just think about me just living for me. I had to live for my two jits. So
Dropping slang on us left and right. So you go to the Navy and you're there, you learn some self-discipline. You just talked about it a little while ago, which a lot of people don't do, things like shining your boots. How much, what did you take from the Navy that you kind of still, what are some of those things that you did then that you still do now? From a disciplinary standpoint, waking up at the same time or working out, or what are some things you do right now that still ring true from when you were in the Navy?
so I always like to put that shit on, man. I watched Michael Jackson, man. He had the shiny shoes, he had the nice fitted clothes. And I was like, yeah, Mike is that guy, man. Everybody want to be like Mike, man. So I kind of dressed like Mike, but I had my own style. But I knew going into the military would take away my creativity. You
Mhm.
gotta be. It's about a book now. So I was like, look, I like to bend the rules. I like to find the gray areas and everything. So I'm gonna figure out how I'm gonna make some creativity. You know what I'm saying? So even in a very disciplined job, I was still able to put that shit on. So the rules are to keep your boots shine, especially the toe part. So working with the Bosa mates, we do a lot of like handiwork where you're getting dirty, you're getting greasy, you're working long hours, your coveralls look shitty. So I was like, damn, like it's gonna be hard to keep your clothes clean in the military. And then a lot of people in the military look at you like that's outside the BMs. They look at people like, you trying to be all clean, like you trying to be all prissy and clean. We get dirty down here. So I had to adjust, like, okay, both mates get dirty, but I can still be myself by making sure that I'm clean, by my shoes being clean. So I'll have dirty ass coveralls, but you look down at my boots and they shiny because those boots being shiny represented Michael Jackson's nice shiny shoes, you know what I'm saying, that he used to tap dance and moonwalk on. So I was like, hey, look, I'm dirty, but I'm clean. I'm clean. I'm still clean out here.
As you continue to talk about Michael Jackson, there's a certain clip that pops up in my head. There's actually two clips, not just one. One, I forgot when I was watching it. It was high school or college, and Michael Jackson pulled up in Las Vegas to this store that he always buys stuff from. It's like an antique store or something, and he's walking around and he's like, "I want that one. I want that one. Do I have that one? I already have those. I will take that one." They sealed off the store for him and everything. So it's funny, I say when I get rich or wealthy or when money's not a problem, I want to have me a Michael Jackson shopping spree. The second thing, talking about Michael Jackson, I remember when the Super Bowl, not remember, but I know the Super Bowl took a big leap one year where they really, and it's funny, we'll talk about it one day, but Super Bowl halftime shows weren't what Super Bowl halftime shows are now. And there was one time in the 90s, it was late 80s or early 90s, Michael Jackson performed at halftime.
Yep.
And he popped up on the stage, and I remember they talk about this on some documentary. Like he was supposed to give like a signal for them to start the music,
Yeah.
but when he popped up out of there, everybody was going crazy, and he just froze, and he was just frozen for like maybe 20 or 30 seconds, maybe a minute. I don't remember how long it was, and the people in production were panicking. They were panicking because they're like, yo, does he know to give us a signal? Like he's just sitting there, he just, but that talks about Mike as a performer, that like he knew what he was doing. He knows how to draw a crowd, he knows how to perform. He like the thing we talk about great actors, they know the right things to do because they're entertainers, they're performers, they know what they're doing. So that was just a quick tidbit. Um, and so now, so you go to the Navy, how much time do you spend in the Navy? And then what is that transition like after getting out of the Navy and figuring out what those next steps are for you in your career?
I spent 3 years in the Navy. I signed a deal, 3 years active, 5 years inactive. So around next year, I'll actually be pretty clean. The contract will end. But inactive pretty much means I don't have to pretty much do any military stuff. But like, if there's a World War III or something, dramatic like that, I'm the first to be called back. And times right now is really really scary. But I also found a way to manipulate that. So with disability, what I'm saying, there's some gray areas, man. So I mean, I ain't gonna give all the spiel because I don't
I
know
was
who's gonna
gonna
be
say,
watching.
I was gonna say, don't be doing that on here.
I don't know who's watching this, but hey, man, I spent 3 years in there, and once I got out the military, I was still trying to figure my life out. Um, and it was rough. It was scary actually. It was very scary. Like this gave me stability. This gave me a place. That's why I found like fellowship and like brothers and good relationships with people. And now I'm about to leave that to go back on the track that I set for myself, which was acting. But I knew that I did the work. I did the research where once I get out, I get my disability and I get benefits to go to school. So I know that the military is going to pay for my school. So I'm not worried about school. Now I needed a little bit of money in my pocket. So disability was going to do that for me. And Yeah, I had to wait maybe like 2, 3 months. So it was tough during those times, and then my school was starting in like August. So I had to get a job at Amazon as a driver in San Diego, California, which was pretty cool. I got to like really see the city, but that job ain't for me, man. Ain't for me. Yeah, they gonna work you, man. Them packages, that's crazy. It's like people are shopping every day. They're shopping every day. I'm like, in this economy, how you have money for this? It's like people is shopping every day, man. And I'm like, yo, I can't do this. But it was pretty tough, man. And I had an eye-opening experience where, I was homeless for like 2 weeks, living in my car. Um, not knowing what to do next, still like waiting till school start. And then I met a few people. I met what's his name? I can't think of his name right now. Men, men.
Okay.
He used to work at the school. Yeah. He reached out, man, and he made sure that I was good. He gave me connections, and those connections helped me get to a good spot. So I appreciate those people like Empress Henry. Um, yeah, she helped me out. Uh, I can't think of her name right now, but it was another one who helped me out. But yeah, man, it was a real tough time, man. But then once I got settled in the school, bro, I was happy, but I was still trying to unravel my life from the military, going from a military mindset to a civilian mindset
Mm.
to a more open mindset to be a creative. And mind you, the deployment I went on in 2020, it was a COVID-19 deployment where we were supposed to go on a humanitarian deployment, visiting 14 different countries. COVID hit, the whole world shut down. So not only did the whole world shut down, we're stuck out in the ocean doing circles and shit. So everybody's isolated back at home and across the world, but we're even more isolated from those people isolated. So all we had to depend on was those people on the ship. And so now when I come back to try to open myself up at an acting school, it was kind of challenging. It was kind of challenging. It was kind of hard, man. But it took me damn near like a year.
Mm.
And a lot of people was like, "Yo, why doesn't he talk?" Or "What's wrong with him? Like, is he?" You know what I'm saying? It's like, man, you don't even know, man. But just I'm coming. Just let me figure this out. Let me figure it out.
I appreciate you being vulnerable, man, because there's so many people that are going through stuff like actively, and for you to be able to just talk about that, living out of your car at a certain point in time while you're waiting to chase your dream and get into school, like a lot of people wouldn't be vulnerable enough to speak about that and put that out there. So I really appreciate you doing that. And when you talk about being an actor, you talk about going that route, there's times you have to go without. You know what I mean? There's times you're like, if I'm trying to make it in this acting thing, if I'm trying to make it in this acting world, I'm not gonna have the flashiest clothes. I'm not gonna have the best car. I'm not gonna have a lot of money in my bank account to eat. Those are like some non-negotiables about that acting life because you're waiting for auditions, you're trying to get your big break, you're waiting for opportunities, you're networking with people. So I appreciate you sharing, man, because that's no small feat. You said a big thing because I struggled in acting school too. So we both go to acting school. You're a year below me, but I went to acting school as part as like when COVID hit. Now our stories connected a little bit. When COVID hit for me, I was working at UCLA and I'm over here trying to figure out life. And during that time, there's a lot of people that had regrets about things that had happened in their life, things that they did or didn't do. You had a lot of people changing careers and what direction they want to go in. You had a lot of people getting laid off. And during this time period, I was like, man, the only regret I have in my life is not finishing. I was majoring in theater arts in college. My dad talked me out of it. I was gonna minor in it. We played the national championship game. I got senioritis. So the second part of senior year, I'm like, man, I just want to get out of here. And I only had like two electives to do before I could graduate. But the only regret I had through COVID was not following or just seeing what this acting part could bring. And so that was a reason for me going back to school. with me having a sports background, sports you're not really vulnerable in sports. Sports, you play sports because you can put armor on and you can hide stuff. You got stuff going on at home, but you show up at practice and you can be mean and you can, you know what I mean? Like you can push through stuff. You're taught to like push through stuff. Whatever's going on outside of here doesn't matter. Figure out a way to get it done in here. You can be mean. You can hit somebody as hard as you want. You can be cussing and script. Like it's a way to let out aggression in a way. And so for me, acting school is a lot about being vulnerable. And so without having like a really high acting background like that, I got there and I'm kind of like, in my mind, what I thought acting was, it wasn't. Thought
Yeah,
acting was saying these words on the page, making them sound pretty, making them sound good. I didn't realize that acting is in the moment being real. Acting is reacting. Acting is listening. Acting is going through something for the very first time. And so you said it took you a while to adjust to that and to break into that. Um, Talk about 2 years at acting school and what that helped Kelvin Williams do.
um so I would say acting school helped me find my voice. It helped me find my confidence. It helped me bring out that confidence that I already had. Helped me bring it out. Helped me find my voice. It helped me like speak better in front of people. Um, it helped me move out my own way and get out my own head. I know Mr. Landfill always would tell me my note was like right in the middle of a scene, he'll be like, Kelvin, get out your head. And it's like that man used to scare me, man, because like how you even know I'm like how you know that I'm in my head, man? Like damn, like I'm trying to cook right now. You already catching me. Like I'm like, damn. So that's what I realized there's levels to this of being open. There's levels to, you know, being open, knowing how to communicate. There's levels to it, and I just, I just, I was sick and tired of hiding myself. I'll say, coming from where I'm coming from, I didn't have a voice. My family didn't really listen to me. You know what I'm saying? They'll be like, "Oh, it's Kale. He crazy. He's the oddball." He probably said, but no, I'm for real. Like I'm trying to tell you something, and you ain't listening. Or when I do tell them something, they be like, "Oh," and it's like as a kid, you can't go upside your parents' head, or what I'm saying, to be like, I told you might get hit or something, man. So I'm just like, I just kind of had to learn to just be quiet, but it was bothering me, so I had to find other ways to express myself, to show my creativity or get my voice out, and acting definitely helped me with that. And then even being in the military, you can't say certain things, can't talk how you really want to talk to people. And in the military, there's a lot of it's like shit goes rolls downhill. That's what they say. Shit rolls down here. It started here, and then just everybody want to shit on the person below them. And that's kind of like in the industry as well, like in the entertainment industry. And I see a lot of people just in society, they like to shit on people below them because somebody shit on them. And it's like, but you ain't got to be that way. And once people realize that you don't have to be that way, the world could be a better place. The work environment could be a better place. Art we can get back to actually making good art because everybody's comfortable. People feel good, with the people that they work with. And acting school just opened my eyes up to a lot of things of realizing my own habits. It made me more self-aware. Um, there were things that I didn't even realize that I do. And being an actor, you have to know who you are before you can play somebody else. I mean, if you don't know, if you're not aware of yourself or what you would do as you just being you, how can you play another character that's not you? Because you can't do the same things that you normally would do as you as the character now. So I was like, yo, this is a different level of acting, man. It's like a lot of people can't do that, but there are some actors out here who can actually like literally break themselves down and have that discipline to literally become somebody else that make you believe that that's them. That's why it's important. That's why it's very important, like what roles you say yes to and what roles you do. Because for me, I've always was taught to stand on business. If you're gonna do it, do it. So the roles I pick, I try to give it my best. I put all my heart into it, my creativity into it. But you got to know yourself, and acting taught me that. Taught me to really like pay attention to the stuff that you do, but also pay attention to the other person. Like open up, listen. Like you said, acting is reacting. And if you're in your head, you can't react to what the person is trying to tell you or what they're saying to you because you worried about like how you look, or am I saying something right? Do I look stupid? Does my beard look, you know what I'm saying? You can't be worried about that stuff. You got to be present with your, you got to be present. And it also taught me to be present. I was always looking for the next thing, always looking ahead and looking back to see where I came from to make sure I don't make the same mistakes. And then sometimes doing that, you forget to be present. Acting helped me be present. And I give a big shout out to Mr. Landfill. He's a godfather, man. He really opened my mind up to like, I think he unlocked a new me.
Mm.
He unlocked a new me, just me personally as a person and as an actor. And it's like, yo, I don't know if that man get enough love, but I'm gonna give him some love on this show today.
We always gonna give Mr. Landfield love. So speaking about Mr. Landfield, Tim Landfield is a wonderful teacher, a coach. He was an actor in his time, performed, I'm not gonna on Broadway or off Broadway, but did some things in stage. And for those that don't know, there's a big difference from doing stage acting and or being a theater actor and then being a movie star or a movie or show
Big
actor.
difference.
You're talking about if you're on Broadway or if you're in theater, you're doing 6 to 8 shows a week, 2 to 3 shows a night from, Thursday to Sunday. You have to make everything new. You are speaking to the people that are in the back of the theater. You're not performing for a camera, and your emotion has to be bigger. And Mr. Landfield, like you said, he was one of my biggest breakthroughs because he's a quiet, small old man, and I mean that in the most respectful way.
Yeah,
But you feel the wisdom coming off of him. You can feel it's hard for me to even like. He's the guy that when he walks into a room, you don't necessarily know who he is, but you know he's somebody. And he doesn't walk around like he's somebody. You just feel the respect that oozes out of everybody when he walks into a room or when he walks down the hallway and the love he gets. And it was
yeah,
actually funny. One day I was talking to him and he was like, "Yeah, when I used to be a bodybuilder." And I was like, "You used to be a bodybuilder?" And he was like, "Yeah, da, da, da. When I met my wife, when I met my wife in Africa." I'm like, "You were just chilling over in like just a very interesting dude." And he was the one that I only had one play with him, and that was when we did our Shakespeare class, and I did Othello, and he was excellent
yeah.
at what he taught me. And so, shout out to Mr. Landfield. Shout out to a bunch of teachers at the American Academy of Dramatic Arts. I got a lot of them that I love that taught me a lot of things that I was very raw in. And so, staying with the topic of acting, you said it was hard. You said, you found your confidence, you found your footing. When exactly did that breakthrough come for you? Like, was it a specific role? Was it a specific teacher? Well, you talked about Mr. Landfill, but was it a specific play? What helped give you that breakthrough? Like, when did that moment come for you?
So I was in Mr. Landfield's class and Mr. Tim Landfield, and we were doing a play. I can't remember the play. I'm sorry about that. I can't remember the play, but it was during the European Classics. We're doing European Classic, and I was like, ah, fuck, man, Europeans, like, fuck. Like I'm from Georgia, man. Like how I'm gonna do this? You know what I'm saying? I gotta figure out. I gotta like change my whole physicality and everything, how I approach it. And I was doing a role, Niles Krogstead. This that was my character, Niles Krogstead, and his life was pretty similar to mine. So I was looking at Mr. Landfill like, "Yo, what you doing, man? Like, what's going on here? Like, how do you know? Like what's going on?" Yo, that role really opened my eyes up. It really opened my eyes up because in the middle of acting, he would give me notes. Like he was watching, making sure that I stayed disciplined, that I wouldn't go in my head and everything like that. And I was holding a lot of emotions, and he was like, "Kelvin, you're trying to control again. You're trying to control. You can't control the outcome. You just got to live through it. You got to let it. You got to be present." And you know where we come from, black men can't cry. We can't do that. It's frowned upon, and if you do, you know what I'm saying, you don't really get no respect. But I feel like we should, because then that would actually stop a lot of killings. It would stop a lot of people, being in prison. A lot more people can be in control of their emotions and just to let it out. Um, so when I was acting, I was holding my tears back on this very tender moment, and he said, "Kelvin, let it go." I was like, "Damn." I just listened. When he said that, I was like, "He see me. Stop. Let it go." When I let it go, I let go of control of everything, and I was able to fall deeper into the character because I stopped trying to control the outcome. I didn't care about what people thought because it's not me. I'm just a tool, being used to bring a character to life. So it's not about you. Again, it's not about you. So I was like, hmm. So I just let it go. And once I let it go, bro, and I did it, and he was like, "You got it, don't be scared. Like you got." I was like, "Damn, that's what it feels like." And it was almost like therapy as well, too. Like nobody in my family told me just let it go. You know what I'm saying? If you hold in something, let it go. And one thing Mr. Joe Garcia taught me, it was like if you're nervous, whatever's going on outside your life, use that as fuel for the character. So I remember him telling me that. So I was like, okay, use this. And I was going through some shit at the time. So I was like, I'm gonna use this to express myself. Mr. Tim Landfill was like, show more of you, be more of you. And that's what I did, man. It's very scary to be vulnerable like that and open up because you don't know how people are going to take it.
Hmm.
People are going to judge you. And me opening up just in front of my family, they judge me. So it's like, I know these random people, the people I don't know, is going to judge me. But as an actor, people going to judge you. And you got to be okay with the work that you did, and be confident in yourself and put it out there because you could spend all night, you could spend a year on a project, but that doesn't mean people are gonna love it. And you gotta be okay with that. You gotta be okay with it. You just gotta eat it up, man. You put it out there, and somebody's gonna be inspired by it, and others are not. But that's okay. You gotta be okay with that. So it just helped me just lose myself more so and just be the actor, be present. If I'm feeling any emotions, let it go. It's real. It's real stuff. It's authentic stuff. So let it out. Don't try to be like a robot and control it and what I'm saying, predict, the whole scene. You just gotta just let it go, man.
You said so much real stuff just now and there, man. Like I wish I could hit on everything because there's stuff you're saying that I've said or had people say to me. And one of the biggest things you said, so acting, acting for me is like sports. For football, we would practice 5 days a week just to play one game, on Saturday or Sunday. Acting, you're over here going over your scene over and over for weeks to perform it one or two times at the end of a 3 or 4 week period. And the biggest thing you said in there, and hold on, wait, while you're doing that, you're doing this in class in front of other people. So it's a teacher or a director, and we had about 10 to 15 classmates. And so you're over here acting and getting into hard scenes or emotional scenes, and you have somebody right there in the front row that might be eating a bag of chips, or
Like
you have
this.
somebody right there that's
Look,
texting, or you
look.
have somebody that gets up and leaves and goes to the bathroom. Like, even though we are not supposed to, people would do that. And so you talk about those things, but what shout out to Mr. Garcia too. I think I was only a stage director for him, but I had one of the best pieces of advice I got from my teacher is they were like I said, with sports, you leave it at the door. You leave it
Mm.
at the door, you come on the field, you block it out for 2 hours, and you do what you need to do. With acting, they tell you to bring that with you because it when you're anxious or when you're embarrassed or when you're hurt or when you're in love or when you're just stressed, that does different stuff for your body when you walk into class. That does different stuff for how you feel from head to toe. And you might need to have that feeling for something that you're doing in your scene or something that you're going through in your scene or something that your characters experience. So if you walk in with that, and every day you're different, by the way, with acting. And this day you're super happy, everything's going good. This day everything's all bad. This day, I don't really want to be here and I'm tired. I stayed up all night learning these lines. But each one of those emotions and those feelings help you to discover more about your character and more about yourself. And so I love that you said like you once you finally let it go, that's when you kind of leveled up and were like, oh, this is what acting is. Okay, I got
Yeah,
it. I
yeah,
I, I understand the assignment now.
yeah, yeah.
And so we talk about that, man. Talk about Mr. Landfill. We talk about the where the breakthrough happened. We talk about the confidence that you gained. So you go through this whole time at acting school, 2 years. You start to get your feet up under you. We go through graduation. Now, what is it like after acting school? You got all these tools in your belt. You got all this stuff that you know. What has it been like post acting school, trying to find an agency, trying to find an agent, looking for roles and what to apply to? What is your day to day now that you're done with acting school and now it's time to get out there and put a body of work together?
So when I was approaching graduation, um, I thought that maybe it would be somebody that come to the school and maybe try to sign you as a talent to help you out that way. I thought that's what it was going to be. Not necessarily. Um, and I was letting my parents know as well, like, hey, graduation coming up. But my dad and my dad was like, "What's next? After that, what's next? Like, I know that's coming. Don't stop there and sit there and soak in that. What's next?" And I'm like, damn, like, I mean, I just like, yeah, all right, fine, all right. Let me figure something else out. And I didn't really know. I just knew that I had already made my own independent film before I even joined the military called Living with Greasy Slim. And I had to learn a lot of things with that, just from the streets, just off of just whatever I came up with, whatever I had, I just made that. So I was like, well, if I don't get signed or nobody come pick me up or something, I'm gonna take what I learned and go make my own shit. That's what I'm gonna do. And towards the end or after the school had these auditions where there was a talent agency that was going to come and watch you and it was going to pick talent if you're good enough. And I was like, all right, this is my opportunity to get signed as with an agency, a talent agency. So let's go. And I ended up getting signed, which blew my mind because I mean I didn't expect to get signed, and plus this wasn't written in my plans. Like once I got
Yeah.
after graduation, once I graduated from the academy, I was like, "Fuck, what is next?" Because I've planned everything up to this point. I don't know what to do now, so I had to like figure it out. Then I got signed, so I was like, "Damn, that's what's up." So I was already proud of myself for even making it that far from graduating the academy, the military, to getting signed to an agency. I was like, damn, man, the hard work is kind of paying off. It's cool. Get signed to an agency. I would say it's it's very important to me, and I would say for future actors, it's very important who your representation is and the relationship that you build. Um, for me, if I can't talk to you as a person and we have that relationship, how can we really do business? And I get it, like you can't mix business with pleasure or whatever. Or it's like I don't know. I'm just like, yeah, fuck all that. I want to have a relationship with my business partners. And I went into being signed to a talent agency as like, look, this is a business. We're this is a partnership. You're not gonna just be in control to pretty much tell me where to go because you're gonna make a percentage of it. I mean, I make money too, but you're gonna make a percentage of it. Nah, it's not how it's gonna go. Because then you see a lot of people doing stuff that they don't want to do, and it can mess up their career or it can mess up their image. Um, I'm not going for that. I want to have as much control in the beginning of my career as possible. That way, I can have a better chance at going in the direction that I would like to go, and be happy with that, and not just get what I'm given. Kind of like in the military, being on DES, where I could pretty much choose the rate that I wanted, and if you ain't talking about nothing, I'm out of there. So that's pretty much what my agency is like. I wanted to make sure we have this understanding, this relationship. This is a partnership. I'm gonna do the auditions. I'm gonna do whatever, but make sure that you also like if you're gonna put me in for an audition, put me in for something that you know that I'm good at or that I actually want to do or that's gonna help me out, and that's within my integrity and my morals and principles as well, and not just oh well I need some money and you're the guy to go do it, and if you book it, cool. If you don't, nah, like nah. It needs to be a mutual agreement and mutual respect. So, for upcoming actors and artists out there, if you're looking for agency, representation, manager, anything in life, make sure that person is for you first of all, and don't treat you like a dollar sign or a robot or something. Like we're all human, and I get it. Like the world is moving in a different direction these days, but I mean, there's still people out here. Just have respect, and I don't know. I was having a little trouble with that later in the back end of me being signed with an agency. In the beginning, it was great. It was great in the beginning, but that's how it always is. But when stuff gets a little shaky, then people true colors come out, and you got to put your foot down and stand up for yourself and be like, nah, we're not going for that. But I've had a lot of auditions sent to me and turned them in. I haven't booked anything, and you got to be okay with that. You have to be okay with that. I've been to callbacks. I got plenty callbacks, um, but you're not gonna land them, and you expect, oh well, I just graduated from the academy. I'm fucking amazing actor. That don't mean you're gonna get the job. It could anybody. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's not your fault. Understand? It's not
Yep.
you're not the reason why you didn't get the job. It could be anything,
Yep.
any reason. And I look at it like that. Like if I don't get it, that just means it wasn't for me. It doesn't mean that it was a no. I'm not good enough. It wasn't for me.
Yeah. Man, you dropping facts this whole time. Um, it's funny that you say that. So you talk about, finding the right agent, the right agency, somebody that's for you. It's definitely hard when you just get out of acting school, you're just getting in the game because you need somebody to believe in you. You know what I mean? The high level agents, they're working with the high level people. Well, same thing with sports. Like, I can talk about this from a personal standpoint. When I was coming out of college, wasn't a great player, played on a great team, didn't have a lot of agents coming to get me, but I just wanted to sign with the agent that I knew he had other guys in the league. He had a track record of getting people signed, like other free agents. And I was like, well, that means this guy has connections and he can probably get me connected with people or in rooms. And from there, it's up to me, or in rooms and on the field. And from then, it's up to me to go get this job. I think we're coming up in a very interesting time, and our teachers have talked about it, and our staff has talked about it at ADA, American Academy of Dramatic Arts. And right now, right now, since the pandemic, a lot of work is down. It's very, very slow.
Yes.
And at the same time, like where there used to be a time where you can go into a room, you go to an audition, you're in a room, you're in front of people, and that's different than us sitting here making self-tapes and submitting them, and for them to click through all these self-tapes and submissions. But that's what the game is now, and it's what it's going to be for a while because it's more efficient.
Yeah.
You said a great thing though. You were talking about like it doesn't mean that you're not good if you're not get booking stuff or you're not getting roles. It just means that one's not for me, just not yet. And one of the big things that we learned in school is to put your best foot forward. Like don't sit here, do the self-tape, put your best foot forward, send it in, and after that, forget about it.
Get it.
Like don't sit here and oh man, are they going did they call yet? Are they gonna call me back? Like, man, I crushed that one. Like there's gonna be times you do really good on the audition and you don't get a call back. And there's a time you're gonna send the audition in and be like, yeah, that wasn't my best work. Like they're probably not gonna and then you get a call from that
And
one.
you book it.
Like
Yeah.
like you just never know. Sometimes you have to look. My cousin is a comedian and an actor, and I read sides with him every now and then, or he had me doing that when I used to live down in LA. And we read these sides for this one part, and he was going through it, and he did a couple takes, and he was like, he didn't like it. He was just like, he sent it in or whatever. And he said, "Thanks for doing this for me." Crazy thing was, I was watching the show a couple months ago that we were doing the sides from, and the dude that he would have played, like his dad was light skinned. So, and my cousin, we African, so we dark skinned. And so there was no way he was gonna get this role because the just father son complexion didn't even like, you know what I mean? Like it was gonna be way off. Like, and so it was one of those things I started hearing the lines and I was like, yo, I did this with my cousin. I called him and I told him, but I was just like, bro, you weren't gonna get that one even if you would have showed up and been a young Denzel on that one. Like it
Yeah.
just wasn't gonna happen based upon casting. So you had to have a certain look. But I'm still praying for you, bro. It's this acting thing, it's you got to play the long game. And I know you live out in Atlanta now, so it's good because you're also at a place, either you need to be in places where they're filming stuff. And Atlanta and Georgia is a place where they film a lot of stuff now with Tyler Perry having his studio out there and it being a major hub of another extension of where actors are going to work and where studios are going to film and shows and stuff like that. So everybody that watches this, man, continue to put prayers up. Just keep your prayers for good things that happen to good people, because Kelvin is definitely a good person. I hope you feel that by him just sitting here. He wears his heart on his sleeve, but he's a real cool dude because when he's 100% authentic and he's genuine. And I just want to make sure I took time to tell you that. And as we're getting to the end, but we ain't closing out just yet. But I want to make sure I ask you some questions because I don't think it's fair to talk about acting in Hollywood and not talk about who your favorite actors and actresses are, people that you watch that you're like, man, I hope I can work hard and I can be as talented to get to that level.
Hmm. Okay. I mean, obviously you got the Mount Rushmore with people like, Denzel Washington, Samuel Jackson. Um, but then I also like people like Dame Sinitris, Dane Kalua. And let me tell you, man, Dane Kalua, he pushed me in the movie Get Out.
Okay.
Um, the crying scene where she hits the cup and he's in the chair and he get hypnotized and goes into a sunken place and he was crying. Jordan Peele said, he was the director. He was like, "Yo, Daniel Kaluuya did that. We did that take like 50 times. He did it every single time." So here. I am thinking like, "Yo, I'm hot shit." You know what I'm saying? But I can't cry yet. I don't even know how to. And then Mr. Landfill is the guy who like helped me break that. So um, he's another guy who made me step my game up because if he can cry on command every time like that, you got to be as good as that.
Mhm.
So that's somebody who taught me like to really get in tune with like my emotions, to like not be vulnerable, cry. He was the first person I see like really like not like ball your face cry, but like, yo, what the fuck is going on type shit. And he was crying. I was like, yo. And then come to find out he's a Pisces too. Shout out to all the Pisces. I was like, wow, yeah, I got to tap in like that. So yeah, Daniel Kaluuya, but also like people like Theo Rossi.
Okay.
Um, he was in Penguin. Also, True Story with Kevin Hart. And the way his psyche, man, his psyche is crazy. And I really like those actors who can really go deep into the psyche. Emily Blunt, um, Lupita Nyong'o, um,
Bro, her eyes in every movie are just they're just so big and I
expressive.
yeah, and that's major in as an actor and in film because that camera is on you and we can see what's going through your head and your mind.
And that's another thing. It's like you know how open you gotta be, how clear headed you gotta be to like know that your eyes are the window to the soul and what you're thinking. So you can't be worrying about other stuff because everybody's gonna see it. They're gonna see it. You got to be that good to like tap in, and that's
Hmm.
real. That's brilliant. And I haven't. Obviously, those actors are very talented, but once you go through acting school and you see the work that you got to do, and you find out how deep it really is, it's like whoa, like you be eating, like
Yeah.
you tough, like you're good, you're really good, you're really talented. So yeah, man. Caleb McCullen,
Okay.
um, James McAvery. Hey, James McAvery is another one, man.
All right, R.I.P.
Oh, he died. Wow.
Hold on, Avery. Fresh Prince, right?
James McAvery. Split. The movie Split.
Mick Avery. My bad, my bad.
McAvery.
Okay.
James McAvery. Yo,
He's
sick.
alive. He's alive and well. He's alive and well.
Sick, man. Those roles when the movie Split, the way he can change like that, you gotta quick. And it's like, wow, it's very talented, man. So those are some of the people that I admire in the industry, as actors and actresses.
Okay. When you talk about the crying aspect, like I'm the same way. Like I don't think I've cried in anything yet. I've gotten more emotional watching movies from being in acting school, from being able to really be like to really be really empathetic, I guess you could say. Um, and I think the funny thing is there's a couple clips going around with Sterling K. Williams, Sterling K. Brown. I forget it. He's on Paradise right now, but he was talking to somebody and they were like, "Man, your crying scenes are really great." Da, 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 da. And they were like, "Could you cry for us right now?" Or they said something like that. And he was like, "What do you want me to cry out of my right eye or my left?" Like he could do
Man,
he could cry out of either eye. And you're like, there are just some talent people that are special. But like you said earlier, like you just said, it's about doing the work. Like we look at acting and we're like, oh, that dude's really good. But like these people are like doing work out. They're doing all this character work leading up to the point. That's why they can show up on set and be able to have a whole character backstory for the person that they're playing for reasons they've went through the script and they write their own notes in there. They're ahead of everything. So these people, there's some that get really good and they don't have to do all that work, but the ones that are good have been doing the work for a long, long time and they're consistent and they show up and they're professional and that's why they are top build, just like you said, they're some of the best. And out, so we hit on actors. Now, let's talk about some of the movies that are, your top five movies or movies that you look to for inspiration.
hmm. I'll say Split is one of those movies that I look to for inspiration as far as like being able to be a shapeshifter, like go from one character to the next within seconds. Dude come out the room, come back in the room, he's somebody else like that. Like it was impressive. Um, but on a lighter note, like Shrek, it's just a fun fun movie to me. That's my dad's favorite movie. That's my favorite movie. My son's favorite movie. We watched the movie together, type shit. Like, we love Shrek. Um, The Mask with Jim Carrey.
Okay.
That's the guy who I. That's the first movie and the first person I seen. Like, yo, he's goofy, and he's doing it on camera in the movies, and I'm loving it. And he doesn't even look like me, and he's making me
Mhm.
laugh. So who's to say that I can't get on TV or I can't get on the front of the camera and be goofy and be myself and make people laugh who don't look like me and who look like me? Um, that's one of my favorite movies. Me, Myself, and Irene is another like kind of like it's a kind of funny psychological type thing. But yeah, some of my favorite movies, man.
Okay. Nah, you dropped some bars, bro. Jim Carrey, it's so funny that Jim Carrey could say, I'm not gonna act anymore, or I'm pretty much done unless the right role comes along. And the right role is Sonic 3. And Jim Carrey is playing two different characters in there. And I haven't seen Sonic 3 yet, but it just speaks about his range. Not even gonna say range, but because it's not range, it's just a matter of him like when Jim Carrey shows up, you're gonna get work. Like like comedy, his comedy chops, and just also like he's gonna bring something that's just totally out of left field that you gotta be like, that's why he's Jim Carrey. And I think one of the best things, I read this book called I think it's called In Living Color, and it talks about not was it Keenan Ivory Wayans, and it talks about them making the show and the casting and the people that they had, and pretty much Jim Carrey was the only white dude on there,
Yeah,
but he was stealing every scene, like even as a background character with what he was doing, and that just speaks to his acumen. And this is a person whose parents didn't want him to act, or what I mean, he knew pretty early he wanted to act, but from there he goes on a run after In Living Color with stuff like Ace Ventura, The Mask. Like we can go on and on about his work, but it's a person that was like, nah, this person's destined for great things, and knowing that he pulled back on his acting for what he's done for a while, but he's a person that is undeniably a great actor and from what he's done and for the work that he's put together. So that's a nice little. We gonna have to get on here and talk about some movies at one point in time, bro. We got to do that.
yeah, yes, sir.
So
I
just
can't
with
even watch movies the same no more now.
Yeah, I
Can't.
agree. Me too. Me too. Me
It's
too.
like I know. It's like I'm watching like how they move, how they do certain stuff, how they prep for it. Did they hit their mark?
Hmm.
How are they vocal? Like, did they hit the lines the way that you're supposed to deliver it? Like, I'm
Yeah.
watching stuff. It's crazy, man. Oh, you was very creative on that spot right there. I see. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's interesting. Like, I can't watch movies with like regular people no more, man. It's hard. It's hard. I can't watch
Wait,
it.
wait, 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 wait. What you mean? Ain't everybody regular people?
When I say regular people, I mean like they not actors. So they don't know. They don't know what's really going on. They just there to see the story or they enjoy the
Mm,
story. And I also do too. When I first watch it, I enjoy the story. But the second time I look at it, it's like I'm ready to critique. I'm ready to like, oh, that's cool right there. And while I'm sitting next to somebody, I don't know, I'm ready to tell them all the stuff that I can see. And I feel like sometimes I ruin the experience for them because it's like I see something and it's like I got to talk about it because that was cool. And you don't even know like how hard it was for that actor to do that. And you're just eating it up. You know what I'm saying? I got to let them know like, yo, that was very hard to do. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of hard. It's kind of hard to like sit to watch movies with like regular people, people who just, want to enjoy the story or who's ready to finish it up to see what happens, to predict it. And I don't know. But yeah.
I totally feel that and I understand it. Now, my question to you is, you said the first time I watch it's for enjoyment, the second time I'm studying it. Are you watching every movie twice, or what are we doing there?
If the movie is good the first time and it takes me on that journey, like I'll say if the movie is good enough for me to stay in the journey of the movie to where I'm not trying to figure out what happens at the end. I allow the movie to take me on the journey with it. And it's good, I'm impressed. because I lose focus quick. And if you're able to keep me there, I was like, that's cool. I like that. I enjoyed the movie. Now I got to go again to see like what you do. I got to
Mm.
break it down. I got to dissect everything to be like, okay, okay, okay. Or you did, okay, okay. Write it down, man. Write it down.
All right, I feel you on that. I feel you on that. Now we almost, man, just switching gears to this last part because I will be remiss if I got you out of here and didn't speak about this. But being a young black father, having two kids, a boy and a girl, um, man, what is one of your biggest joys of being a father? I know you spoke a little bit before, like how you switched gears when you had kids and got out of the Navy, and it's like, yo, I'm living for some other people now, and I got to do right by them. Man, what's it like being a dad, man? What are some of the
Man,
biggest and joyous things in this fatherhood journey that you on?
hey, listen, it's an honor to be a dad, and I mean, I love my kids so much. Like it's like to really sit there and think that you created an extension of you, a clone of you, and like it's growing, like the child is growing up, and you get to see yourself in this child, and you also see things that you didn't see in yourself. And I'm blessed to have a, a female and a male version of myself. And it's cool. It's cool. It's cool to like really see. I mean, my kids, man, they always make me feel special, man. It's like I
Mm,
can't do no wrong to them, and I like that. Like I'm their hero. I'm their superhero, or um, I'm their idol. Somebody they look up to. And for me, it's important that it's important the things that I do, even in the business as a man or as an actor. It's important the things that I do because I have a daughter that's watching me, and I'm her first love as a man. You know what I'm saying? Her father, I'm her first love. So I'm showing her what to expect, who to go for, what to look for. You know what I'm saying? So I have to be better at being a father and a good person and a man because I have a daughter watching me. And same with my son. He needs to know how to stand on business. He needs to know how to, talk your big one. He needs to know how to, pull his pants up, button his shirt up, speak, control a room, get your point across. Don't let nobody play with you. You know what I'm saying? Like being a young king, a young prince, man, he needs to see that. And in Hollywood, you know what I'm saying? Like one of the guys we didn't really get to talk about is Will Smith. Man, he brought his son, like the movie After Earth
hmm
with him and Jaden. To me, that's like that moment right there. That's like LeBron and Bronny. It's the same thing, man. It's like the same thing. It's like, man, I would love to get to that point one day where I got Hollywood in the palm of my hands, but now I can bring my kids into it if they want to, to make something special with them. Um, I think a few months ago, I actually shed tears because uh, the mother of my kids, she was like, Kelvin the third, Trey, we call him Trey, he's the third, Kelvin the third. He was like, he want to be an actor just like you, and that touched me because it was like I'm not where I want to be yet, but I'm already inspiring somebody, and that's my son. So he's watching the things I do. So I have to make sure that the things that I'm doing, you know what I'm saying, it's in the right way or, to help him find his footing as well. So it's real special to be a father, man. I love my kids so much, man. I want more, but, I don't know. This economy is crazy. The world we going into is a little crazy, man, but I don't know. Protect and provide. That's all I know how to do. That's I feel like that's the goal of a man to protect and provide. So if you're gonna have them, you got to stand on business. Make sure you can take care of them, feed them, protect them, and that's what I do, man. I love my kids, man. I love my babies, man.
Yeah, I feel you, bro. I appreciate that. It's so funny we can be here as men and be vulnerable enough to say, yo, it brought tears to my eyes when my son said he wanted to be an actor just like me, that I'm already influencing him. And I think
Yeah,
that's good, man. Like I don't have any kids right now. I got nieces and nephews, got 11 of them. But I remember what it was like just looking up to a person like my big brother. And my big brother would pop up every now and then, cut my hair, give me a pat on the back, and dip out. But I was just like, man, I don't know where he goes and what he does, but man, I hope I'm as cool as my big brother when I get older.
Right.
But like you said, you got a mini you that's like, man, I wanna act like my dad does. And you said it, you're like, man, I'm not where I think I should be or where I want to be or where I'm gonna be in a while. And he already wants to be like me, but that means you already setting the pace, man. You're already giving him something to shoot for. Like you said, when you just talked, you said, he gotta pull his pants up, he gotta button his shirt, he gotta walk in the room and speak with confidence. Like those are things that father figures and fathers and people teach these younger people so that when they get in these positions to be able to do something, that they're manicured, that they've been
Yeah.
molded and shaped in a good way to be able to survive this world. And so, man, brother, once again, I appreciate you, man. As we close out, bro, any last comments you want to say for people that are out there chasing their dream, actors, young black men going out there being entrepreneurs, going after things? Any lasting piece of advice that you have for anybody out there that you would want them to hear?
Um. Hey, confidence is key. Confidence is key, man. Like you got to know, you got to be confident in who you are as a person. Don't be watching what everybody else is doing because now you so focused on what everybody else is doing, you can't follow your path, your journey. I think everybody has something special to do here on earth. They have a purpose. This is why you're born. So you need to figure out what that is and then not necessarily have tunnel vision, but focus on your lane. Like focus on what you got going on. If somebody else in another lane, they're ahead of you, cool. If they're behind you, cool. That don't mean you shit on them because they're behind you. If they're in ahead of you, that don't mean you gotta hate on them or watch them. You know what I'm saying? Just follow you because you're gonna get there when it's time for you to get there. If it's for you, it's for you. And I think confidence is something that people in our community needs, and everybody around the world pretty much need. Because you know, if you weren't about if you weren't about somebody else, you're probably not confident in yourself to know that
Mm,
it doesn't matter. I'm going to do what I got to do. It may not be tomorrow. It may not be in the next 30 minutes. It may not even be in 10 years. But as long as I stay on my path, and it's going to get there when I get there. Everybody has different timing. Everybody has a different timing. So that's what I would say to the young actors, young black men out there, or men, period, women too. Be confident. Just be confident. If you're wrong, say it with confidence. If you're right, say it with confidence. It doesn't matter. Be confident about it. Um, and self care. Love yourself. You have to really take care of yourself. You can't. It's hard. It's hard to chase your dreams. It's hard to even go in this world, go day to day in this world without loving yourself first. And if you don't know how to love yourself, how are you gonna be able to love somebody else?
mm,
Which is why I had two jits, man. They showed me, hey man, hey, hello, you gotta take care of me. You gotta love me too. And it's like, okay, I got you, I got you. But yeah, I have this book here, uh, From Broken to Better: A Journey from an Embattered Boyhood to Empowered Manhood by Dr. Ray A. L. Coleman Jr. I'm reading this book, man. It pretty much helped me out, bro. Pretty much helped me out. I recommend all the young black brothers out there and men period to read that. It opens your eyes up about from transitioning from a boy to a man, and I don't think we get enough of that attention out there where other men leading other men in the right
mm,
direction, and not to say hey tell them what to do, but I think a lot of the principles and morals is being lost in today's age, man. We need to get back right, Um, that's all I got right there. We gotta make sure I gotta make sure my son is on the right path because we're not gonna always be here.
mm,
So whatever I'm here experiencing, I want to make sure my son experiencing, my daughter experiencing, and it's real and authentic. I'm not gonna sugarcoat anything because the world's not gonna sugarcoat nothing. Nobody care about you out here. You gotta be able to handle your own. So I want to prepare them for the world because I'm not gonna always be here. Just like my parents, they're not gonna always be here. So I got be confident. That's
Mm,
why I want to say to everybody out there, just be confident, man.
yeah. Be confident in what you do. Be confident in this world. And confidence, with confidence is preparation. Make sure you're prepared. When you walk into rooms, when you're speaking to people, be knowledgeable about what you're doing. But outside of that, man, being confident can help with a lot of insecurities that you have.
Yes.
And the most confident people aren't insecure. They've handled that part. They know that I'm not the smartest, I'm not the best. I can always learn something from other people. Just be open to that. Be confident in what you do. Be confident in how you move in this world, and treat
Oh,
other
but
people well.
not to cut you off, but I want to like say no, I think even the most confident people are a little bit insecure though. I think
Mm,
everybody has insecurities, but you can't let that eat you up. You got to be more confident than you are insecure, and I think that's the key, man. Like, because everybody got
yeah,
something they're not proud of, or they that they bothered by. But if you confident, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You can think about it all you want, but as long as you're confident, you can overcome that. So
100%. Nah, you good interrupting me, bro. Sure, you're good, bro. We talking business, Mr. Stand on Business, Mr. Put That Shit On. Once
yes,
again, that's Kelvin Williams Jr. I'm gonna
man.
put that junior on your name. And at the end of the day, like I told you, bro, let's create some stuff. This won't be the last time that we connect on some, even if we're just sitting down talking about some movies or acting. But when I said that before we got on here, I was 100% real about that. That's why I'm saying it on wax right now because I'm 100% real about that. But you are genuinely a good person. That's why I wanted to have you on this show. Appreciate your time. I
Yes, sir.
appreciate your words of wisdom that you're giving to young people and people that are chasing this acting dream. And at the end of the day, man, have confidence when you move because things are going to be a lot better for you and you're going to come out with some better outcomes and results.
Yes,
Once
sir.
again, that's Kelvin Williams Jr. popping in here. You're going to see him on screen at some point in time. Go check him out. Follow him on IG. I'll post all this stuff in the notes that you got it. But once again, Kelvin, thank you for coming on Quality Time
Thank you
with
for
Uncle
having me.
Drew.
Thank you for having
And
me.
and we're going to see you next time, brother. Stay
See you next
healthy.
time, man. Yes, sir.